Hey everyone, welcome back. It is March 9th. I think today's March 9th. Maybe it's the 10th. 9th. I think it's the 9th. Anyway, I wanted to come on real fast and tell you need to be paying attention to, especially if you're in the United States, because President issued a statement yesterday saying that he's going to put in an executive order and they're going to start putting some regulations on cryptocurrency. So start watching that, paying attention to that. What does that look like? How will that affect you? What is going to pump during this time? What will dump during this time? And just, use your discernment. Be very wise in the things that you're doing. Most of you who are on here, you know what I've seen, and so I'm not going to go into all of that. But just be wise and be discerning in this time, okay? Don't get into fear, uncertainty, and doubt and start questioning the things that maybe that you've seen because of something that these outward eyes are showing you. Trust what you know, trust what you've seen, and move forward from there. And if you feel like you need to do something at this time, do something. If you feel like you're just supposed to sit. Okay, so don't let the news, what I'm trying to say is don't let the news sway you because you've already been shown what is to be for you and your family and your generations going forward from there. Okay, so I'm gonna digress on that, but I had a dream last night that really bothered me. I think it's something that I really needed to see. Honestly, I kept waking myself up out of it going, enough, I don't want any more, no more. Like, I don't want to watch this anymore because it was about America. And I'm an American. I'm proud to be an American. I love the people here. I love my land. I love the nation. But I also know that within this nation and within this system of government that we have, that there are some things that, I didn't vote for. I don't agree with. I don't get into alignment with. I also know that for a very long time, I wasn't engaged, and I have to take responsibility in that. I have to take an awareness and go, on my watch, I allowed some of these things to happen because I wasn't engaged at the time. I allowed these people to put in the people that we see right now that are running our generations and our nations for many, many years. And this isn't just here in America, but it's all over the world. And so this thing that we're seeing with this great reset, I have to take an accountability in that and go, well, you kind of did that and you've been telling us for a long time what you're doing, but I just didn't want to see it because it sounded so outlandish and crazy. And here we are. And so in the dream though, if you have dreams, you understand that when you're taken into these situations or you're pulled above for a different vantage point, that you begin to take on the emotions of that dream, of the person that you're watching with, the people that are around you and how they feel. And so honestly, for the last probably 5 or 6 hours since I have been awake, I've been trying to just like I'm here. I'm not in my dream anymore. Like, I'm here because it was hard. It was heartbreaking. It was sorrowful. It was, it was full of grief because I was watching people from a different vantage point who had an idea of what America had been doing. And what I was being shown were all of these leaders for decades that have been putting these things in place, that have been hurting people all over the world and our own people here. But at the same time, I was trying to blind and close my eyes because I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. And the part of me was, did I really do that? For part of my adult life, did I do that? I don't want to see this. I don't want to know that. It's too hard. I'm just not going to look until it comes crashing in on me and I'm affected, then I'll look. Because see, that's what's happening right now is we are being affected. So we are looking. But there's so many people who have been affected by policies that have been put in place by lawmakers, not just in America, but all over the world for a global agenda that have hurt, destroyed families, destroyed nations, left lands barren. And we look at that and go, but we were always the good guy in it. That is just, frankly, it's not true. And we have to stop thinking that we've always been the good guy and take accountability and responsibility for what it is that we need to own in that. Because there's a place of when we move forward, we all have to take our own responsibility, our own accountability, and to see what's been done. And we can't just blame, well, that leader did it, that leader did it, that leader did it. How many of us stayed out and we weren't engaged in that governmental system, in that the local level, all the way up to the top, even within our own companies, because, we're just not in that group. And so we're just not allowed or afforded to be in it. But for a long time, we sat in our homes and didn't do anything because it wasn't affecting us. We were watching the news and what the news is telling us is going on, all the while, there's a little bit more to that story that's happening there, but we are all like, la, 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 oh, I don't want to see it. But it was done on purpose. And I think everyone could probably see that at this point, that these things were done on purpose to keep us at home. You just keep to yourself. You just go to your 8 to 5 job. You just send your kids to school for, 8 hours a day. You go do your thing on the weekend. We'll give you 2 days off, and then you'll go back to work. And there's no time for most people to even understand half the things that are going on right now. But see, what's happened in this hour is people are raising up. People are awakening. People are understanding. There are citizen journalists on the ground that are saying, hold on a second. What you're seeing on that mainstream is not what I'm seeing right here on the ground. You have actual people who are in those situations going, hold up a second. Let me tell you, there's a little bit more to this story. But yet we start fighting with each other over who we can and can't pray for. And what I saw in my dream last night, it was a huge wake-up call. I felt more like, but Lord, I understand all that. I know that. You've shown me that. That's how I even awakened to all the things that are going on in our world, was through these dreams that you were giving me. And why am I seeing this again? But it was because what I was being shown is that we are going through this place for those who don't understand that yet, that they're awakening to it. And what that causes is a deep, deep, deep heartache, a deep, deep grief, a deep, deep sorrow in people, because inside of that, you have to look at yourself and go, wow, what part did I play in that? What part did I not play in that? And why did I not play a part in that? Because as these systems begin to unravel and begin to collapse, we can't just build a new system around it. We can't just take one system and put people back into a new, like this new system that we call it. We're going into sovereignty. Sovereignty as a people, sovereignty as an individual, sovereignty as a nation. And we have to learn how to take on our own responsibility to then go forward so that we are all part of a group, a nation, a people who can walk as sovereign citizens. Because right now there are systems that we've had to have in place because we're not sovereign. We don't know who we are, and we've given power to the wrong people. And those people have set up and infiltrated every part of society. And right now they're being uncovered. Those systems are being uncovered because they're being taken down. And America has a place in that to go, oh my gosh, I am so sorry for what I didn't see, but I see it now. I didn't know those policies of those elected officials, and most of them were not even elected, what they were doing behind the scenes. And I am so sorry. I see now. Because I'm telling you, in that dream last night when I was on that Mexico border with a mama and her baby, and I saw what was happening to them and why they were there and what part America played in that, it's not okay. When I was taking over Somalia, when I was taking over Syria, I'm sorry. When you see it from a different vantage point and a different angle, and you're able to look at those things and go, oh my gosh, I am sorry. It's how we begin to connect to our neighbor. It's how we begin to change things. Because I'm telling you right now, my heart is broken for my neighbor. My heart is broken for what my nation, in some instances, has done to my neighbor. But we can change it. We can make it right. We can help. We can awaken. We can do our own inner healing work to step forward so that we can make things right and adjust the things that are broken. We have to be able to see the things that are broken and stop going, well, I'm a Democrat, so I really like that person, and nothing that you say, I'm still going to like them and I'm still going to support them because, see, I'm supposed to be fighting the Republican. Or I'm a Republican and you can't come against any Republican because then you're coming against me because then I've got my pride in that and because I said I stood with that person. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. We don't know the lack of knowledge that we've had until we start gaining the knowledge. We don't see how unwise we've been until we step into a place to gain wisdom. And right now, there's a lot of people who are coming out of their blissful ignorance into a very knowledgeable, wisdom-oriented place because it's how we move forward. And these systems of government, these global systems of government who are trying to hurt, destroy, dismantle nations on purpose, it shall not go forth a second longer because people are awakening, people are rising up. And what I saw in that dream last night, from all of those different vantage points and all of those people who had a story to tell, their stories were being heard, and their stories were being heard from a truthful place. not from one of propaganda, but from truth. And so much was being uncovered in those lands that no one could look at it and go, you're lying. That's not real. That's not true. There's so much changing at such a fast rate because we are countering. People are waking up to the things and the atrocities that have been done to people groups, to races, to clans, to nations. And you know what? Nations, it's not just a land, it's a people. It's a people. You know, even in scripture, when you see the word nations, it's talking about a community of people. So the nations connected all over the world, that community of people connected all over the world, the nations are being seen. The nations are being heard for what's been done to them by this. As I woke from that this morning, I just kept asking, what am I supposed to do with this information? I want to tell you so many things that I saw, but I don't feel like I'm supposed to, because what it does is starts tying people to trauma. But what I saw was so much trauma on so many people. But here in America, in our generation, we haven't experienced that trauma. We haven't had bombs dropped over our heads. We haven't had the ravaged, barren lands through a war-torn country like they have. We haven't been ripped apart from our families like a lot of these other nations have. And so when we sit in our bubble and we view this from our computer screen, from our news stations, we don't always get the full picture. We don't always say, we can say, I could put myself in their shoes. But after last night, and what I saw and felt and heard and witnessed from being taken above all of these different places was a completely different thing. I will never be the same after what I experienced in my sleep last night. And all it does for me, it makes me want to be more engaged. I'm activated right now, like I really am, but I'm even more activated now because humanitarian aid is needed around this world to right the wrongs that have been done to innocent lives and innocent people and innocent nations for generations. Our world is coming into a new place. I hope you can see it. I hope you can feel it, because I'm telling you, that great reset, it shall not happen. It shall not happen. Because too many people are rising up. Too many people are seeing what's going on. Too many people are getting engaged. Too many people are activated. We can't just sit and pray anymore. We have to be active now. We have to be active now. It's kind of like if you are someone who reads the Bible and you go into, Ezra and Nehemiah, and you look at those from a historical standpoint, and you're talking about the building of something, and you're bringing the people back together, and you're teaching again. And one of the things inside those books I was taken to yesterday was that Nehemiah called for the cancellation of all debt. Think about the prophetic cycle that we're in right now. Let's think about that for a second. But see, we don't get to go and build back the same systems that we're tearing down because they're not working and they're hurting people. We're coming into a new place where people have to do the inner healing work to get connected to God for themselves, to not stand under an authority, a false authority. Well, you're authority, so it must be true. You're authority, so I guess I just have to follow you. Oh, here, you're the authority. Give me my chains back. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. People are free. People are walking into a liberation. And here in America, it's really hard for us to say that, but there are other nations that have been trapped in so much oppression and bondage, and that is lifting off of them. It is lifting off of them. So my dream ended last night. I was taken above America. So I'm like looking down, and I can see the whole map of the United States. And I remember looking at it, and I was crying. I was crying so hard, and my tears were hitting this map. And at one point, I was thinking, I need to go read Daniel 9. What's that Daniel 9 thing? And so I remember, it's the Daniel 9 prayer. Well, even when I looked at it this morning, it's about repentance. It's the place of going, man, my nation has done some really crappy things, and I need to turn from that. And I'm inviting you, God, back into my nation from a very heart-centered, loving place, because what's been going on right now and the things that we have done and the leaders and the rulers that we have put in place and the laws that we have allowed to be passed because a lot of us just weren't engaged, that's on me. Part of it's on me. Part of it is. Now, the other part, we're not even talking about how they've even put those people there. That's a whole other story in itself. We've got a lot of things going on that are unveiling how that's ever happened and why, and where it started and what the root of it is. But right now we have a lot of roots that are being ripped up. we have a root right now of heartbreak, of sorrow and grief, and that root's being broken up. That's what I woke up with. Is that, Brandy, that sorrow and that heartbreak and grief that's happening all over the world, what you're seeing is because the prayers that you've all been praying, those roots are being ripped up because it's time to move forward. And you can't move forward into a new place when you're still holding on to roots that have been growing from heartbreak and sorrow and grief. But we're walking into a new place. And so we get to choose to stay in that sorrow, heartbreak, and grief, or we get to heal from it. And what I saw in the dream is that people were going to heal from it. They had a choice to make, but the majority of the people said, no, I'm moving forward. It's time to move forward now. And so I just wanted to share that because I hope that maybe it strikes something in you to activate you. Maybe you need a confirmation for something that you're seeing or hearing or knowing, or that inner place in you of where like something's stirring in here, but I don't know what it is. And I need to be activated and I need to use my calling. And I know I have an assignment. What is that thing? That maybe that will start activating you to really dig deep and seek what that thing is, wherever it is in the world that you are. And so I ask that you will pray with me, that you will start not just praying, but speaking and declaring and believing and being expectant for that mountain to move, and then be activated to actually go and move that mountain with a group of people that you're called to move it with in this specific hour, because that's what we're doing. That's where we're going. And it's going to take all of us together, united together, in one together to move forward. Okay. I feel like there was so much more to that, but I think I'm just going to leave that at there. And if something else comes up that I'm like, oh yeah, I should have said that, then, maybe I'll make another video about that. But there's a lot of change coming, and a lot of change that's coming fast. And those of us who know what that change is and can see it for what it is, we're the ones that are going to be able to speak peace and help those who maybe haven't seen any of it yet. Because remember, every time that you start awakening and you start seeing those things, remember the grief and the pain that it caused you, the betrayal that you felt. And anger. I had a lot of anger in my dream last night. And I was feeling anger from those who were sitting in it, and this thing had been done to them. And then it was like, after I moved so high above it, I was able to release it because I saw it. I was aware of it. I didn't deny it. And then I asked for healing over it. Like literally imagine yourself going, heartbreak, this is the root. Bam, you're gone. Sorrow, I'm ripping it out. Grief, I'm ripping it out. Evil, I'm ripping it out. Because I can't stay here anymore. Okay, I think I'm just repeating myself at this point. All right, you guys have a good one.